Hi, and welcome back to Andrew Gamera Coaching and NoPainNoGain.ca. Today, we are talking about neurodiversity myths. Neurodiversity myths are everywhere, and sadly, most people believe them to be true. So in my 12 years of studying neurodiversity, it's no wonder why parents and those that have been diagnosed with autism, ADHD, disorders, or any neurodiverse category would become very, very worried. But I'm here today to tell you, to try to break down the barriers between the myths and the truth so you can feel more confident, whether it's a diagnosis you've received or one of your loved ones, that there is so much that can be done and that these are not death sentences to be diagnosed with any of these conditions. This just gives you a new base level for which to go and to start finding the tips and tricks and different technologies that are out there that can help you or your loved one thrive in life. So let's get started with autism disorder, and this is the autism spectrum, or ASD. So let's start with the autism myths. So when I think of the autism spectrum or autism in general, I start to think about the movie Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. And this 1988 movie did an excellent depiction of a severe form of autism that Raymond had. But you know what? The fact of it is that most people with autism are not savants. They may not be mathematical savants or be able to memorize things incredibly. So that's it makes for a really great character for a movie or a TV show, but that's not really what the majority of those that are on the autism spectrum experience. That's why they call it a spectrum, is that you get from mild to severe. Raymond in Rain Man was the very extreme form of autism. But most that are in the mild to moderate spectrum area, they don't experience that. They have their really great things they excel at, and then the challenges that they have as well. And that's why it's called a spectrum, is because there is a whole lot of different diagnoses pre-1980s that all they decided to put them all into the same bucket because they varied slightly from each other, but they decided let's put it into this, call it a spectrum, so that we can better help those that have the neurodivergent mind that just is wired a little bit differently. And so they think differently, they see the world differently. And the great news is that even though it autism cannot be cured, you can definitely be trained to understand the different social cues, different things. Like most of us, as we grow up, most people will learn these cues over time, about what different facial expressions mean, different comments, sarcasm, humor, what the different behavioral things that are acceptable in a society and which are not. But the great thing about this is that it can be learned. You can very easily, through pictures and videos, you can teach those that don't normally pick up the behavioral cues what they mean, so that when they're in a discussion with somebody, they can better understand when that person is not understanding them or getting frustrated or just being sarcastic, trying to be funny. Most people that are on the spectrum are black and white thinkers, so there's very little gray area in there. And of course, it's a spectrum, so it varies from person to person. And so that's one of the things that we really need to understand, is that these myths are not true, and that we need to treat each one as an individual, as we should with all people, and deal with the strengths and the weaknesses. And when we do that, we can really help them thrive in life. Autism facts. In reality, those with autism are highly intelligent. And with their neuroatypical brains, they tend to think outside the box in ways that other people can't. They also tend to hyper-focus on things, which allows them to really understand things from all angles and to really understand what makes something tick. And this hyper-focus allows them to make major breakthroughs in their fields. Moreover, they're highly sought after in the IT fields, medical fields, and scientific communities because this hyper-focus they can just keep studying and learning and trying over and over and over again until they get the results they're looking for, where some people would just give up after a little while. And this is something that those that are in the autism field, this really is a great gift that they have. And because they're highly intelligent, their ability to learn and discover new things is astronomical. I mean, most people, those that I have come in contact with that are on the spectrum, they want to learn. They want to be able to communicate better with their peers, with their teachers, with their friends. And they're really, really thankful to learn social cues and to better understand how other people are taking in the information that they're providing. With being able to learn to not be so blunt with the way they speak, that to the delivery of speech, their tone. These are things that may not be obvious to somebody that's on the spectrum, and they don't often realize how they are coming across in the way they're trying to communicate. And the great thing is that all these things can be taught. And most people on the spectrum are really, really eager to learn because they want to be able to communicate well and build their friendships and relationships with others. So if you've been diagnosed with this or someone you love, you don't have to worry. It's, as I said before, it's not a death sentence. There's so many techniques and so much knowledge now on how we can help those that don't pick up on behavioral and social cues very easily. That can be taught. And then they're able to use their incredible brains, their imaginations, and their abilities to just make huge breakthroughs that are a benefit to everyone. So this is a fact I need you to really absorb about those on autism, is that their brains, their intelligence, their gifts far outweigh the challenges, and all of the little challenges they may come across. With a coach, we can help find ways to make their communication skills and ability to interact with the world so much easier. So let's move on to ADHD myths. The neurodiversity myths that are around those with ADHD are that they love to be disruptive and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it beyond medication. And it's so disruptive and it's so damaging to the individuals as well, because they just feel that there's something wrong with them. And then they're just bad people. And that is, nothing could be further from the truth. Now, what they have found out with ADHD is that the brains are wired in a way that accentuates their impulsivity and their ability to be distracted. But you know what? There are great techniques that you can use to help them focus better, stay on track, and to reduce these being distracted and being impulsive in their actions. And you know, a lot of people with ADHD, they don't realize how their behavior, their impulsivity is affecting others. And so one of the great things you can do when you have a coach is that coach can help you or them understand better how their behaviors are affecting others. And then finding ways to bring that down. There's lots of things out there like weighted blankets, weighted toys. They help the individual to feel more grounded. So they're not jumping up and running around a lot. And you know, those kind of things, they can be used in classrooms, they can be used in an office environment. Because of their especially the weighted blankets, they can be anywhere from just the size of your lap to blankets that kind of hang down a little bit more. And that can really help bring down anxiety for those with ADHD. There's also fidget toys and things like that can be used as well, that helps them to focus their energy and anxiety, to bring that down as well. And there's just so many different techniques that can be used. And with a coach, they can help you find the one that works best for you. So let's move on to ADHD facts. The majority of people with ADHD do not want to be disruptive. They don't want to act out. They're not craving attention all the time. They just want to fit in with their friends, their peers, their co-workers. And a lot of these people as well, they're so incredibly creative. They think outside the box. They have so much to provide in their school environment, with their friends, and in a work environment. So it's just helping them to focus and to be able to stay on task is really important. So some of the great things you can use for that is noise canceling headphones. Of course, if you've got a teacher going on or you're in a presentation at work, you're going to have to take those earphones off. But while you're doing your work on your own, those earphones can be so helpful, especially when you're in an office environment or a classroom where there's so much distraction around, so many noises coming in from everywhere. Those noise canceling headphones can be a godsend for you. The other thing you can ask for, if you're you can ask for a space off to the side in a classroom setting or in an office. Maybe ask not to be in a cubicle setting if that's possible for your employer to do for you. You could maybe have an office that you can close the door so that you're not so distracted by everybody else's comings and goings and all the noise that can happen in a room. You can also change lighting. For some people, high-pitched, they can hear the high-pitched buzz in the fluorescent lighting. That can be really distracting. So perhaps you can ask your employer to change that out and have just lamps, regular lights next to you that will take that irritant away from your environment. Fidget toys, again, use that. Listening to music that helps you stay grounded and focused, that can be huge. And usually most employers will not have a problem with that. You've got your earphones in, you're focused on your work, and you're hearing music that really helps you focus, can be a game changer. Another really great thing for those with ADHD is scheduling your time so that you know what you're going to be doing from next to next. Because with those with ADHD, their brains are going all the time. They've got all these thoughts, I got to do this, I got to do that. So one of the great things you can do for that is that if you've got that thing scheduled, then you can be telling your brain, don't worry about it, brain, thanks for reminding me, but we're doing that at 3:00. And then your brain can start settling down because it knows nothing's going to get mixed. It's going to get done. And so scheduling, really, really important. The other thing you can do if you find that you have trouble concentrating for a long period of time, break it up. Break it up for 20 minutes, half an hour. Focus deep for half an hour. Take a 5 to 10 minute break. In that break, you can go for a walk, you can go to the bathroom, do a couple of sets of stairs to burn off some energy, then come back and go back at it for 20 minutes. And breaking things up through the day like that, you're gonna be so much more productive because you're gonna have bursts of energy where you're super productive. Take a break, get your brain to reset, and then go back at it. Instead of forcing yourself to sit for 2 hours straight, and then your brain is going all over and you're all fidgety because there's other things you want to do and you just can't focus, that's not productive. But if you can arrange with your employer, your teacher, these 20 minute 5, 20 minute 5, it'll make a huge difference. And find a time frame that works for you. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's half an hour, maybe it's 40 minutes. But find that time frame that works for you, that you can focus, take your break, come back. And then you set up your day like that, and your productivity is going to go through the roof. And as I mentioned before, people with ADHD, so incredibly creative. Their ideas are just off the charts. So having them as a partner in your business space is, whether you're in a classroom or in work, they can really help shake things up and make things fun and creative and really help really expand your business. So having people with ADHD in your work environment can be a benefit for everyone. So let's move on to HPI myths. If you're not familiar with HPIs, they're high potential individuals. And the myth with them is that they are highly intelligent, overly sensitive, people that will be depressed loners for the rest of their lives. They are going to suffer and probably have very early lives because they just can't cope with this world. And nothing can be further from the truth. So although they are highly intelligent and most are very sensitive, they can live very productive and happy lives. The key for me was finding out that I was HPI, and that was why I saw the world so differently from everyone around me. Once I had a name for it, and that I wasn't just weird, then I could focus on the other things in life instead of worrying about why I was so sensitive and why people just didn't understand me. So now, understanding why I was so sensitive, I could then focus on what I could achieve instead of why I was so different from everyone else. HPI truths. High potential individuals are incredibly creative, intelligent, and extremely aware of all the injustices throughout the world. They have an incredible empathy for others and don't want to see anyone suffer. With their high intelligence, they are able to discover highly innovative ways to help those around them and make the world a much better place. So with this in mind, the best thing you can do for an HPI individual in your inner circle is don't mock their sensitivity. That's just how they work. They work from that with great empathy and great sensitivity for everyone around them, not just themselves. Making concessions for their work environment that will help them be able to work better just makes all the difference for them. For me, that high-pitched sound of the fluorescent lighting, it would give me migraines. Well, it does give me migraines. Grocery stores with security systems that are really high-pitched, I can hear that. We're not supposed to. Humans aren't supposed to hear it, but I can hear that. And it just creates so much anxiety with me. I have to get out of that environment as quickly as possible. So for me, just knowing what works and what doesn't and creating an environment that works better for me, it makes my productivity go through the roof. So let's look at the disorder myths. And this is that they will never be able to learn and that they do not have a great prognosis in life, that it's going to be hard for them to hold a job and be productive. And that is a complete lie. The truth about it is that those with disorders have incredibly active minds. They just need help in being able to express it. And in our day and age, we just have so many wonderful breakthroughs in technology. There's voice recognition and spell checking software that can be used. There's so many machines that they can dictate into. Physical therapy has come so far, really can help them with their balance and motor issues that may be holding them back. And things like dyslexia, that can be, and even dyspraxia, there's so many ways that you can help them through that. And once they have got the tools at their disposal to help with whatever challenges they may be facing, the whole world breaks open for them. So a disorder diagnosis, again, you don't need to be afraid of it. You just need to start asking your health provider or get yourself a coach that can help you get access to the physical therapy or special teachers that they will need in order to be able to express themselves and communicate with the world. So don't be upset with this diagnosis. There's just so much out there right now that can help those individuals thrive. So in conclusion, neurodiversity myths are very, very detrimental to those that have a neurodiverse mind in helping them grow and become the incredible people that God created them to be. So the best thing we can do for them is to understand what their conditions actually are, not what they aren't. And realize that there are, whatever diagnosis they've been given in whatever severity they may have it, there is so much that can be done. There are so much technology, physiotherapy, behavioral therapy, cognitive therapy. There is so much out there that can help them. Whatever diagnosis they've been given, the next step after you get the diagnosis is get a coach or get some referrals to some specialists that can get them the help that they need in order to thrive in society. Once we do this, we need neuroatypical people in society because they are the ones that help get the breakthroughs in science, technology, medicine, art, music, theater. These are the great minds that are able to see the world differently and through a new lens, and then introduce the rest of us into that world. And that's what movies, music, theater, that's really what it does, is it helps us to see the world differently than we do. And when we can do that, it makes the world such a better place, because when we can understand those around us that are different, we can make accommodations to include them. That's what God wants. God wants us to all be able to live together and be able to support each other. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Whether you've got a neurotypical brain or a neuroatypical brain, we all have our challenges in life. But when we can understand and see things through somebody else's perspective and then support them and help them to improve their lives so their challenges are a little bit less, that's what makes the world a wonderful place. And that's what a neurodiversity coach does, is that we help the individual discover all their strengths and their weaknesses, and then how they can use their strengths for their betterment, and then to find ways around their weaknesses so that we can lessen that and start making them strengths instead of weaknesses. So thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here, and I really, really appreciate that. Without an audience, there's no point being here. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to watch this and learn a little bit more about neurodiverse individuals. If you know somebody that could benefit from knowing more about their diagnosis and the things that are out there and available for them to help them live a happier, healthier life, please reach out to me at andrea@nopainallgain.ca, and I'd be more than happy to sit down and chat and see if working together would be a good fit for both of us. Another thing you can do that would be of great help to me would be to like, subscribe, and share these videos so that the YouTube algorithm knows that this is valuable information and that it should be out there and it should be seen by more people. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. So for those of you that are unaware, I am a Christian health and wellness coach. I can help people with confidence issues. I can help people with chronic illnesses like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, diabetes, things like that. I'm also a neurodiversity coach, so I can help those that have been diagnosed with autism, ADHD, disc disorders, HPI. I can help them to get the help they need to live a better life and to make their challenges a lot less so that they can just thrive in life. They can communicate better with those around them and share their incredible personalities and brains with everybody else. So if this sounds like something that would be of interest to you, please reach out to me at andrea@nopainallgain.ca, and I will be more than happy to help. So I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.